Test, test. Desktop audio. All right, let's see. Is this thing going? Is it streaming? I don't know. I'm going to try something. Is this thing going? I'm going to. Is it streaming? All right, I'm trying something new and different. Does it work? Hello, waving hands. Let's see. 5, 4, 3. Okay, so we're about 10 seconds behind on my monitor here. I'm just gonna, I got my glass of water and my little plate of salt and vinegar chips after dinner. So I have my little steak salad. I'm gonna eat bad. So it's Sunday night. It is 7:30, 7:32 to be exact. Sunday night, August 3rd. And this is where I just kind of relax and get ready for the next day. You know, look at my calendar. See what's on it for tomorrow. And then I'll watch some YouTube. In about an hour, probably sit outside for a minute or two, absorb the night sky, and then go to bed. So I figured, hey, you know what? I'll stream me watching YouTube, making stupid comments. We're not going to watch anything through. But just the stuff that comes up on my timeline. So we're just going to tab through it, and I figure I'd do this live without any kind of preparation. And then just make comments. Usually things are just in my head. So today I am going to take the things that are in my head when I watch them and speak them out loud. Let's start. So I think you can see my screen. I guess we can make me a little bit smaller. What if I put myself over here? But then, like, I'll just put myself there. That works. That works. We'll just go with that. So I'm just going to tab through these videos and watch them and see so what we got on YouTube tonight. Just random stuff that the algorithm threw at me. Starting with,
I have a question. When was the last time you did something just for the fun of it?
All right, so this chick, she's in Canada. And she used to do videos of minimalism. And I was into that about 2 years ago. So I started watching her, and she had maybe like 60,000 subscribers. So now she's at like 145. And you've seen her change. Like, I've seen her change. If you go back to her older videos, there's definitely you can see her hair change, just the way she looks changed. She's getting better at speaking, and her topics are kind of getting broader. Now, in my opinion, they're just kind of like the everyday kind of stuff that everybody knows, common sense. But I guess people find it entertaining. I mean, I did it first when she was talking about minimalism. And then she kind of just gets into like the normal everyday, you know, if you need more money, work 2 jobs, find a side gig, you know, the whole thing that everybody talks about. Why nobody has hobbies anymore. Now, I've disagreed with her, and I've sent her, I've made comments on some of her videos when her channel was smaller, where she would actually respond to her. She's not a pleasant person, I'll tell you that. If you give feedback or something like that, no, she don't like that. So here you go. I find a lot of people who can't work, or entrepreneurs, or people who insist on like running their own stuff, are usually people who can't work under other people. Not saying that's a bad thing, but they have a hard time taking orders from other people, following other people. I accidentally said that to my dentist once. We were having a conversation. He took offense. He's just like, no, I do these volunteer things. I listen to people all the time. And I was just like, all right, yeah, all right, dude. But anyway, Let's see what she's going to talk about today.
Not to make money, not to post on social media.
Again, we're
not
just
try
going to
impress
randomly go
anyone
through a
else,
bunch of
but
videos.
just for your own pure hedonistic enjoyment. When was the last time you did a hobby? When I was younger, I had a lot of hobbies. But
Let's see
how
where she's
easy is
going
it
with
for you
this.
to reach for your phone for one specific reason or another, only to get sucked into a rabbit hole of doom scrolling or something else complete? Various other more utilitarian tasks as well. But now, our phones condense all of it to fit neatly.
Oh, is it
And
just
make no mistake,
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
commercials?
Okay, you ready? All right, 118.
the ability to draw you in.
All right, so I'm getting the gist of this video that she's doing is, because people have these phones and they can do everything on their phone. That's why they don't have hobbies anymore.
And waste your time is a very intentional part of the design.
Might be legit.
Endless social media scrolling and short form video content has fried our brains and destroyed our attention spans.
I'd agree with that.
It's become so easy to get completely sidetracked with nonsense when you want to listen to music, or read, or play a game, or do whatever it is you want to do. And the ease of it is precisely the problem. Picking up a new hobby, whether it's something like making art, or learning a musical instrument, or trying a new sport, these things are hard. They take
You know, I think she's got a point because I know whenever I play the drums and I have hobbies, I have my drone, I build things, I tinker, and I get distracted by the computer. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's on the news? Anything happening? Anything? Am I missing? Did Mr. Ballin put a new video? Is there going? Am I missing something? So yeah, no, it makes sense.
take effort, especially if you want to become good at them. But doom scrolling is easy. It takes no effort.
Yeah, so I
File
guess
with that
the big
because
thing
for
she's
me at
talking
least, the
about
pros have far
is the phone. I don't carry a phone. I didn't even have my own phone till about 3 years ago when my boss got laid off, and I thought I was going to get laid off, and I'm like, oh crap, I need to get a phone because I always have my work phone, and my phone will be off for weeks at a time because I am in my office from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. every single day, and I tell people, you know how to get me, Teams or my desk phone. Don't even try my cell phone. It's not even going to be on. I'm not even going to pick it up. So I don't even carry a cell phone with me. Maybe that's why I still stay very active in a lot of my hobbies.
outweighed the cons, but there absolutely are cons. In this side hustle culture we're living, we're relaxing, and yes, I know how toxic that sounds, but that's hustle culture in a nutshell. Anytime you aren't spending in pursuit of money is time wasted. Didn't want to keep paying nearly $70 a month for the subscription, so I got rid of it a while ago. Do most hobbies, and if you're getting more joy from shopping than you are from using the thing.
Yeah, okay. So she's kind of weird. One of these socialist people too, where she's anti-capitalist, which okay, whatever. And I think people waste their money on stupid things all the time when they go shopping, but that's their choice. That's what they want to do. And when I was younger, I did that stuff too. I find a lot more happiness seeing my bank account grow, and a lot less happy with like vacations and just owning crap. I rather see a bigger bank account and more money to invest, because I guess I'm getting older. I know in another 10 years I'm going to need that money. So that's where I find happiness. But yeah, I guess people are, less hobbies because they're on their phone all the time. You see it. I mean, kids are like, I don't like to use this word, but it's a hard word and it's a strong word. But kids these days are they're kind of retarded because they don't do much. They just sit there on their phone. And my friends had their kids doing that. I mean, years ago when they were little. Maybe they grow up and they learn stuff, but I could bring my professional life into this and talk about some experiences, but I can't really do that. Just dealing with the younger generation and what they do. What's going on here? What was I looking at? Where do we go here? What'd I do? Would I jump around? I don't know. Did I jump to the next video? But I was looking at chats. All right. I don't have my glasses on. I'm just kind of seeing what their comments are. She does get some weirdos out here. All right. Also, when do you have hobbies? It's easy to let research the hobby and buying new things for a hobby online to replace what actually doing a hobby. Also, when do you have hobbies? it's easy to let researching the hobby and buying new things for the hobby online to replace actual doing the hobby. I'm not sure what he's saying. True, this is something I can really avoid. I must be dumb because I read things and I just can't comprehend it. But apparently other people can. Maybe it's a language that I just don't understand. I'm of the old English. Information overload, yeah. At 83, I still have plenty of hobbies. Of course, you're 83. You're not sucked in by the phone stuff probably. 4-string bass guitar, freshwater aquariums, a carnivorous plant garden. Okay. Uh, I'm going to use that even though I do not have a carnivorous plant garden, but next time somebody asks me what my hobby is, I'm going to say that. I have a carnivorous plant garden. That's awesome. Running, acrylic painting, espresso. Is this a chick? I saw a quote I can't let go of. There's no effing way I was born to pay bills and die. Sorry, dude. That's life. I hear people say that all the time. Oh, it's we weren't made to work this much. We weren't made to do this. And then other people are like, back 300 years ago, people only worked about 2 hours a day. Do you really believe that? You really that dumb? Are you in such an echo chamber? You think people 300 years ago worked 2 hours a day? They didn't have stuff given to them. They couldn't go on Amazon. They had to work for everything. Shit, they were lucky if they lived to be 30. How do you say that? There's no effing way I was born to pay bills and die. No, that's how you survive. Back in the day, you worked. You had to go hunting or else you died. You had to run a farm. And yes, you woke up at 5 a.m. or you were out on a farm at 5 a.m. You probably woke up at 3 or 4. And then when the sun came up, you're out on a farm and you did that till the sun went down. And then you took care of like your mom who was dying of like a cold or something like that. Why do people think that they have it hard now? They don't have it hard now. And working to pay bills and then die, dying. Everybody dies. Guess what? You are born to die. There's no effing way I was born to pay bills and die. Oh God, it's so stupid reading it. There's no effing way I was born. Let's just take out the pay bills. There's no effing way I was born to die. No, everybody is born to die. Everybody. And pay bills. Guess what? Yeah, living life is about paying bills. And then you die. What a moronic thing. If she said it, it's a moronic thing. And then if him agreeing with it, I also saw a quote. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Oh, I live in Sweden. And Sweden, by the way, is it's a very socialist country. I live in Sweden. Here, work-life balance is really important, and maybe that's how you keep your hobbies alive. Because all the people I know have a lot of different hobbies. That is how you stay happy. Most people exercise in some way. We love being out in nature, so I think balance is key. What is balance, though? I mean, if you work 40 hours a week, you put in an 8-hour day, and then you get home and you do your home stuff. That's balance. That's just typical balance. Unless, in Sweden, they think we work here in the United States like 12, 16 hours a day, which some of us do. Anyway, our standard of living has greatly declined. No, it has not. Our standard of living has not declined. Our standard of living is the best it's ever been in the entire history of humanity. These people are insane. It used to be that one man with an 8-to-5 job would support a family. Oh, here we go, this stuff. No, as a child of the 70s and 80s, and my mom grew up in the Bronx. My dad grew up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. I always laugh when I see this. It used to be that one man with an 8-to-5 job would support a family of 5. No, that they had second jobs, third jobs, and they didn't buy anything. There was no Starbucks. They weren't spending $5 coffees, and I know people hate that cliche, but it's true. It used to be that one man with an 8 to 5 job would support a family of 5, buy a house in the suburbs, new cars every 3 years. No, this is so not true. Retire with a good pension. Yeah, they had pensions back then. Well, my dad worked at Eastern Airlines for 36 years. And Frank Borman, that scumbag, came in and bought Eastern Airlines and then disassembled everything. What he would do is go and buy airlines, break them down, and sell all the parts. What was the guy's name? Hinkie. I'll never forget that name, Hinkie, with Frank Borman. And they all lost their pensions. My dad was with the company for 36 years, starting in the 50s, I believe. And when that company went down, my dad lost his pension. I remember he had to drive a truck in his. He was like 60 years old. He had cancer, and then he opened up a hot dog truck because that didn't work out well. But no, this is so not true. I remember my dad always working, doing 16-hour days, and he had side jobs. I remember him falling asleep on the way to work because he was working so much. Anyway, while spending another 40 hours a week on hobbies and still have time for a family. This was typical. No, it wasn't. But this, I want to take a screenshot of this because I want to do like a whole video on this kind of bullshit because it's just not true. It's just not. It's a lie. And I keep seeing people say over and over again, all right, I just took a screenshot. So let me read this. Our standard of living has greatly declined. No, it hasn't. It's great. It's better than it's ever been. It used to be that one man with an 8 to 5 job would support a family of 5, buy a house in the suburbs, new cars every 3 years. No, none of that's true. They usually had second and third jobs. Mom worked. They didn't spend anything. They were not buying new cars every 3 years. I don't know where that comes from. Retire with a good pension, unless the company went bankrupt like my dad's airline did, while spending another 40 hours a week on hobbies. No, they didn't. That other 40 hours... that was spent at another job. That was spent at a second job. That was spent trying to figure out how to make more money, how to support the family. Fathers, this is so stupid. God, this just annoys the shit out of me. Kids, any Generation X you find, right, that grew up in the 70s and 80s will tell you they don't even remember seeing their dads. We did not see our fathers. Our fathers were always working. Always, always, always working. Anyway, let's see. Now we have been ever serrated. I don't know what that word is. He got me, man. He's got a word. I don't know what that is. Now we have been whatever by the oligarchs, so that substance is all we have time for. So that subsistence is all we have time for. By the way, making something you love into money, making enterprise will kill it as something you love. Money corrupts everything. No, it doesn't. This guy's an idiot. This guy's a moron. I like reading comments because you got to see like people. This really, really spoke to me. I work out, then I work out hard, physical job, come home, watch a show, and pass out. All right, she's just talking about herself. Because we're all at least mildly depressed and the digital world has hijacked our brains. Okay. We're not all depressed. I don't even know what depressed is like. Maybe I'm just too dumb to be depressed. But the digital world has hijacked their brains. That, no doubt about that. And it's getting worse. Not, okay. There, I like that comment. Not depressed, dulled down by design. Yes, 100. That dude nailed it. He gets an upper. He gets a thumbs up. That was good. That's a good comment. All right. I'm in my... See, I only watched one video so far, and I'm already, like, worked up about it. I'm in my 40s and took up learning foreign languages as a hobby. It sounds like a cool hobby. 2 years in, and I am fluent in Spanish. That's cool. I've been trying to learn Spanish for, like, 20 years. And I can say, ¿Qué te hace, chico? ¿Qué te hace, chico? And, sí. And what else can I say? Something about baño. I just go baño because I don't know how to say all the other words around that to ask where I just go baño, and usually people just point to where the bathroom is. conversational French and learning Russian and Mandarin. Wow, that's a smart person right there. They're probably just bragging, but you know what? If you know all these languages, you have every right to brag. It's been a great way to connect with people, I bet. Huh. I bet you meet a lot of chicks doing that. It kind of opens you up, right? If you know that many languages, you got a lot of opportunities. My problem is too many hobbies. So much I want to do, not enough time. I work with a guy he's like a serial hobbyist. I think everybody knows somebody like this. He likes golf. He likes guitar. He likes singing. He likes acting. He has his cats. He just about everything you can think of, this guy gets into. And he spends a lot of money, and he's in a lot of debt because of it. But, yeah, I get the whole hobby thing. I used to spend a lot of money on hobbies, and in the last, like, couple of years, now I'm getting older, and I got to, like, save for retirement. I spend a lot less now. Yeah, this is a good one. I think this is probably a good video. It's probably going to get a lot of views on it. Just because people feel like they don't have time for hobbies anymore. I think it's two things. People want to get into hobbies, but they're so distracted by the cell phone or whatever people are using these days. Pads. I just call it pads. And also, if they are working multiple jobs, they don't have the time either. All right, cool. Good, Nicole. I'll leave you, and let's go to the next video. Maybe it won't work me up so much. According to Nicole. Yeah, so I just want to show you how she kind of changed her appearance over the last couple of years. Let's go to videos. And I think she's probably making a good amount of money now and probably had some consultants or whatever. But yeah, she used to do all minimalism stuff. So let's go to her oldest. Yeah, you can see like... It's kind of funny. No, she's doing good. I don't agree with her on a lot of things. I find her sometimes annoying. Had dialogue with her, and she wasn't that nice. But you know what? Good for her. I hope her channel grows a lot. I wish her nothing but luck. Next one. Raving. Oh, this is... Oh, how would I ever guess? This is the guy that was saying that times are so horrible now. And... and he's like an older dude. I shouldn't judge people just because he's riding a bicycle. It's just, there is that thing. People riding bicycles are kind of. Let's see what he writes about himself. So I'm looking at this. If you didn't watch the earlier part of the video, which watch it, you'll see why I'm focusing on this dude. He talked about how it's so hard to live now, and people were able to buy houses, working in an 8-hour job a day and have like 5 kids, and dad had hobbies, and he was just having a time of his life. He had a job that just paid for everything, and it's all BS. So I figure, let's look at this guy. Cycled for 52,000 miles. Okay, so this is him talking about himself. I love self-descriptions because it reveals how people see themselves, and what they're so proud of kind of indicates their personality identifiers. If you don't know, I spent 15 years in law enforcement, 10 years working in a jail. I studied psychology. People were like an experiment to me, the inmates, just listening to them because I'm fascinated with criminal psychology. So I like to pare down how somebody thinks. All right, cycled for 52,000 miles. He's very proud of that. That's like the first thing he starts with. 2 times around the earth, right? So he probably didn't do 2 times around the earth. The earth is 25,000 miles, so he's, he wants you to know he could ride 2 times around the earth if he needed to. I don't know. It's just a silly thing. It's like, have you ever heard somebody say, "Oh, we've got 150 years of experience in this room"? And I always think of that as a stupid metric, right? You got a bunch of people, and you add all their time together, and it's like this really big number, right? Oh, look at this. We've got 200 years of experience sitting before us. Okay, let me throw this out there. Say you got a call center, and you've got 300 people in that call center, and they've all been there for a year. Do you say, oh, look, we got 300 years of experience? No, you don't. You have 300 people with a year of experience. Anyway, current streak is 917 straight days. This guy, he loves himself, man. He loves this. He wants you to know he can ride around the earth. He can ride around the earth twice. And he's got this streak of like just riding for 917 straight days. I'm 75 years old and feel about 50 years younger. I'll give him that, right? I'll give him that. I guess, if I was 75 doing this, I'd be proud of myself too. I'm 50, 51, and I'm a fat slob that sits in front of a camera with a microphone and in front of a computer all day at work looking at emails. So, I'll give it to him. He should be proud of himself. Still photography is what I enjoy the most. You can tell he's old because he calls it still photography. Wouldn't it be great if he was like, I like still photography, but I am also into moving pictures from time to time. I love those moving pictures, but my preference is still photography. It's kind of funny. Is what I enjoy the most. Please click the link to my Flickr. Lots of nature photos. Yeah, let's take a look at his. All right, the guy likes taking pictures. Cool. Good for him. Good for him. Where were we? On this tab? Nope. All right, let's go back to F11. All right, we checked that guy out. Look at his Flickr.
And one of the people always they say, keep yourself.
All right, next video. So this is Keith Moon. Probably one of the best drummers who ever lived. I learned something new. I didn't know this. He never used a hi-hats. Never use a hi-hats. It's kind of wild. Keith Moon talks about smashing up hotels.
Outrageous in hotels, I mean, why do hotels... I was so tired of looking at the same wallpaper, speaking to the same operator, Right. So I said, okay, fellas, there we go.
A lot of you young rock and roll... He's a drummer for a...
So Keith Moon, one of the best drummers, drummed for The Who, died. I think he threw up in his throat and died of asphyxiation, or I forget what the actual the medical name of it is when you die on your throw up. But he was so famous for tearing up rooms that Saturday Night Live did a skit on it with Steve Martin.
So when people say, Keith, have you ever smashed up a hotel room? I said, yes, well, 3 in one fell swoop.
You know what he reminds me of? He's like the 1970s white version of ODB, Old Dirty Bastard. Crazy, wild, very famous, very much, adored by people, and then he dies early because he's just so friggin' nuts.
One swell flood, the one,
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ralph Bain speaking to you for the Hewitt House Hotels, the rock star's home away from home. Don't be alarmed. I think I know what's going on. Yes? That's Keith Monkey. He's a drummer for a rock and roll group called the Master Race Blues Band. Go right ahead, Keith. Good to see you again.
What a nut. Good old 70s.
Well, everyone can agree, and we've said it on this.
All right, what is this? Democrat? So I just have like a whole mixture. It doesn't follow any kind of like genre or anything, just a bunch of videos. So let's watch this. I'm going to eat some of my potato chips here and drink a little water. So Democrat voters stunned after CNN tells them point blank to admit Trump is winning. How old is this? 5 hours ago?
Show Democrats and Republicans alike. Border crossings, border problems, border crimes are at a record low. And that fell right at her feet. And what was broken was our country and our...
happen.
This week, we're hosting a free trading and investing workshop right here in Scottsdale. Inside this workshop...
Now, it could happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that's reality. So let's work first from the reality of that, not from I just hate Donald Trump. Because that's boring and doesn't get us anywhere and leads you to dishonesty. Because the truth is...
I don't like to get into politics. I'm way too dumb for politics, right? Seems like every time I get into politics, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't take it in a serious way. But I'll tell you what, Bill Maher, is that his name? Bill Maher? Bill Maher, I think it is. He's a left-wing Democrat. And I think he's got a lot of really good points. And I think if the Democrats actually followed his lead on a lot of stuff, they'd be in a much better place. He could be the greatest threat to the Republicans if the entire Democrat Party actually followed Bill Maher. He's a very smart guy, realistic guy, very pragmatic, doesn't beat around a bush or bullshit, doesn't use platitudes. He's straight, man. I'm apolitical, center political, whatever the hell you call it. Like I said, I'm too dumb to know who's right and who's wrong. I just kind of follow along, and I see people that I can appreciate, and he's one of them.
I don't know what his strategy is. But look, the stock market is at record highs. I know not everybody lives by the stock market, but I also drive around. I don't see a country in a depression at all. I see people out there just living their lives. And I would have thought, and I got to own it, that these tariffs were going to fucking sink this economy by this time, and they didn't. So
it's true. My day job. This isn't even a job. I'm not monetized. I can say and do whatever I want here. But my actual job that pays my bills is import export, and I know a lot about these tariffs. And we're all like on edge what they're gonna do. I don't think they've come to fruition yet with the actual economy. And this is August 3rd. A lot of stuff's supposed to happen next week, and we have no idea. I went to go do a swing trade on the stock market last week because it's been really good. And it's just like the day I did it, everything dropped. So Friday, things took a nosedive. So tomorrow's Monday. It'll be interesting to see where the stock market goes. Maybe I can do a follow-up. Anyway, so that's Bill Maher. Let's go to the next video because I don't want to do politics too long. I kind of find it boring. And it's like sports. People are going to like a baseball game, or they're going to like a baseball team or a football team or whatever. And you can't convince somebody. You can't convince a Dallas Cowboys player that I don't even know what they're known for. I do, but I don't want to say it. I don't know much about sports either. But yeah, you're not going to convince a Yankees fan to move over and enjoy the Mets or become a Mets fan. You're not going to convince Republicans to be Democrats or Democrats to be Republicans. And when it does happen, it's one of two reasons. A very, very long, drawn-out thing, or something really bad happened to them. They got stabbed in the back. They were not supported, and then they moved to the other side. But, yeah, I don't believe in trying to convince people of anything. They have their thoughts, and that's the way it is. Next video.
ジャパニーズ・ウィズ・ヒカリのポッドキャストへようこそ。22回目のポッドキャストです。今日は面白いですよ。
I don't know why I chose this one.
トイレに
I just clicked.
快適
So I did just right click. I just laugh because she sounds funny. I don't know. It's Chinese and it shouldn't sound funny. So I just right clicked the video, and I think because it had toilet in its name, that's why I clicked on it. How we doing? That's how my brain works. Okay, here we go. I see toilet in the name and my brain goes to
それからトイレではそのウォシュレットがあって、お尻を洗って。
It looks like it's all Japanese, so we'll move on. Next video.
So I would imagine most of you watching have a vague understanding of the history of the Norse Vikings. The seafaring warriors that were...
Oh, Techno Viking. Yeah, this guy. Let's see if they have a picture of him. I think people are familiar with him. Yeah, this guy.
Jesus. But what most people don't know is muscle-bound Dan.
Yeah, so this guy was like, I guess he's big in Sweden, and he's like, people know him, but he's like a quiet, apparently a very authentic kind of guy. And when he became a meme, he went ape shit. Like he didn't want to be a meme. He didn't want to be everywhere. I mean, he looks like the kind of dude that, you know, you don't mess around with. You know, he just look at his face. I mean, forget about his body. Just, you ever meet somebody and you're like, okay, this guy's no joke. he's got that face, right? He's just got that aura about him. Even though he's dancing, doing some weird stuff. But apparently, in these countries in Europe, see, in America, we have a true freedom of speech. I can make fun of this guy, say whatever I want, do whatever I want, as long as I'm not threatening him or, accusing him of doing something that he never did and then giving him a bad rap. But I can call him, make all kinds of stuff and show his image. Over in Europe, you do that, you can get sued. So apparently this guy was like suing people for reposting him and doing all that kinds of stuff.
Actor or was hired by him in any way. It was just a ridiculous organic situation that unfolded right in front of his eyes when he had his camera out. He would go on to upload the video to his website and called it Kneecam number 1. In the pre-YouTube years of the early 2000s, Fritz's video was shared by email and word.
Yeah, a bunch of people shared it. He did not like that. And yeah, so I guess he sued. Next video, it's kind of boring. There's not much else to the story. How long is this video? 12 minutes? Yeah. It's not really much to get into. Additionally, Fitz had to pay $1,500 in legal bills for Techno Vikings' first lawyer 3.5 years ago. Yeah. I'm glad I live in the United States. Next video. Live earnings analysis. Strongman personal finance. So when is this coming out? So, Strongman Finance. This guy has been at 15,000 followers for like 2 years now. He tried to get on the whole influencer thing, finance influencer thing, when that was big with Graham Stephan and Andre Gique and I can't remember the other names. Meet Kevin. But he's kind of, I don't know how you describe him. He's kind of entertaining, but he's not. How do you describe him? He's like very one leveled. He doesn't have like a lot of depth
Earn up to 10x
or multiple layers to him, so he kind of gets very boring really quick. Where like with Graham Stephan, the guy's got a lot of history, he's got a lot of knowledge, he's multi-layered. Even Meet Kevin, all those guys. But yeah, this guy's, he's funny. He yells and he complains. Maybe his complaining is the funniest stuff, but that's about it. Like here, Daily Clown Report. So it gets boring after a while. Next video.
Okay, turn around. Does that do anything to you?
What is this?
It has no effect on me.
Baby. And Vicky, well, she wasn't your average robot kid because, there were plenty of those running around for. Fun fact, it was actually rumored that a young Seth Green auditioned for Jamie. Imagine that alternate, a live audience high on sugar and trapped in a studio with.
Just a weird show from the 80s. This girl was like a robot daughter. Small wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Not that very interesting. Next video. Trump's
guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival.
This guy, I started watching him at first because I used to like the gun tubers, and he's not really a gun tuber. He's kind of turned into this weird conspiracy stuff. Oh, look, wow, he's gotten big. I haven't seen him in a while. But Trump's secret UFO plan exposed. This is the kind of stuff he's gotten into. It used to be, he attracted me because he was going over, he's ex-military, I guess he's infantry. And he was going over some skill stuff and showing how they move and how they do I think the video was about how they would do an ambush and how you plan for anti-ambush and all this other stuff. So I thought that was interesting. But then he kind of went off the rails.
The Late Night Live. And so, historical reference, the book of Enoch.
Yeah, here we go.
That talks about watchers and forbidden knowledge. Okay. It's a text that was stripped from the Bible and buried for centuries. It's like, I think, 108 pages.
Yeah, my brain can't get into the whole fictional thing. I have a block. Like, it's hard for me to watch movies or TV shows that are based in fictional stuff. I like non-fictional or documentaries, things like that are very realistic. But this whole Book of Enoch and Planet Urubu and all this other crazy stuff. I just can't do it, man. I used to like listening Coast to Coast with Art Bell when he did the crazy stuff, but it was admittedly crazy stuff, right? But then now when they do it and George Norrie tries to act like he's all interested, it's just kind of like, oh, come on. Oh yeah, so here's his original videos. He like really went over really, really cool stuff. Survival stuff, like real practical things you could use and learn from. I guess he used his military knowledge and he would share some of it. Urban tactics, how to navigate with a digital watch. Really cool stuff. I thought that was really good stuff. And then I guess what gets in the clicks is this crazy stuff. Bug out bag. Okay, so that's not too. Is this his latest? No grid, no rules, stay alive. Veterans. Oh, maybe he's gotten back to the normal stuff. The plan to attack. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he's gotten back to normal stuff. Maybe I'll start watching him again. Who is this? This is Black Scout Survival. I'll check his videos out later. Next,
Republicans are saying that this is a major scandal. I agree. It is. So then who will be held responsible? Who will be punished? What person, what actual person with a faith? Now, already this was an...
Are you ready for retirement? Our free retirement planner shows you where you stand.
An unsatisfactory explanation. The DOJ didn't actually provide proof that the system needs to go offline for a minute every night.
All right. I worked in a jail. I used to work in these housing units. I've installed, managed, I have my own security systems. That's here. I'll turn on one of the cameras. So this is my backyard. This is another part of my backyard. So I know security systems very well. Let me tell you something. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He absolutely killed himself. No one's getting into a jail, especially that time at night. The only people getting into a jail during regular business hours are investigators and lawyers. And then they have their classes and their religious things during the day. But nobody's getting into a jail, especially at night when the staff in the jail, night staff, they're tight, man. When we had our day shift, people got along, but there's still a lot of kind of heads butting. But that night shift, I mean, that was a tight crew. They knew everybody. There wasn't anybody getting into the jail to kill Jeffrey Epstein. And I see these stupid videos where they show like an orange blop or something like that. And they're like, oh, that was somebody in an orange jumpsuit. It's just not happening. And when I first heard this, and you probably think this too, I thought it was a suicide watch. I thought that, he was on suicide watch, and there was a bunch of guards that were watching him. Because when we did suicide watch, you had the inmate in the cell. We sat in a chair, and we would write down what the inmate was doing every 15 minutes. And most of the time, you just put lying on bed, eating breakfast, using the toilet. Look it up. He wasn't on suicide watch. He was just in a I guess in New York they call it the SHU, something housing unit. In where I worked, which was right across the bay from them. I worked in a county in New Jersey, and we called it ADSEG for administrative segregation. And these were big housing units, and yeah, we had to do a head count. Sometimes they didn't. If they only had a couple inmates and you knew the inmates were there, you just kind of checked it off. And you're supposed to do a 30-minute tour. I tell you what, honestly, and any officer who's honest with you will tell you on midnight shift, you put your feet up on the desk, you lay back in your chair, and you went to sleep. Especially when you're on overtime. I was on a 2 to 10 shift, and when I would get forced to do overtime, you'd get forced to do an extra 8 hours. You're tired. And you close your eyes, man, and you open your eyes, it's 3 hours later. Then you go, you fill your logs out, catch up on everything. Maybe you'll do a tour in 3 hours, make sure everybody's still alive. We've had some people kill themselves. We've had a lot of people hang themselves, or what they actually do is strangulation. A lot of them, they'll tie it around the end of the bed. They'll put it around their neck, and they'll either just kind of slump off the bunk or they'll pull themselves. We had a lot of that. And you didn't know. You had no idea. until you looked in. Sometimes you didn't even know when you looked in. Another inmate would come down and tell you, hey, so and so is dead, or he's blue. You're doing chow in the morning and you're counting everybody off, and you see your short one. You go up to their cell, and they're as blue as a grape in their bunk with the thing around their neck. So it happens a lot. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Nobody got into the cell. Nobody snuck into the prison. You can't sneak into a prison, number one. You're not going to get up to the guy's cell without officers knowing, number two. It's just not going to happen. There's so many doors between like the housing unit, the cell, a sally port out to the hallway, in the hallway to the other parts of the jail. It's just not happening. So when I see other jail guards say this, it's just like, how this can't happen? It's just not going to happen. So stop being stupid. Listen, the guy had everything in the world. He had more money than you could ever think of. He had everything at his finger. I mean, look, the guy ran like an underage thing down in an island. That's how rich he was. You take that all away, right? Imagine that. Imagine just a normal person living in a normal life, and you take everything away and put him in a jail cell and say, this is going to be the next 20 years of your life. You're going to eat bologna sandwiches. You're going to have, powdered mashed potatoes, and you're going to have a little bit of corn muffin every night. If the bigger, stronger inmates don't take it from you, that's a whole nother thing, the whole psychological thing of being an inmate. And that's going to be the next 20 years of your life. So you go from living on an island where you had all the means in the world, all the money in the world, all the influence. You're friends with Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and, Bill Gates. And you got the guy in the wheelchair who talks about the stars and all this. Those are your friends on your island that you took one of your jets that you're going from your place in New Mexico, like multiple hundreds of acres, to your New York City place down to your island. And now you're going to be sitting in this tiny, like 6x8 cell for the next 20 years where you ran a show for your whole life, and now you're going to be told to do what you're going to do every second for the next 20 years. Yes, this guy wrapped a sheet around his neck. Oh, and by the way, he was in his 60s, so he wasn't going to get out. He was probably going to die in jail. So he figured, I'm just doing it myself. And he wrapped the thing around his neck, and he ended his life. That's just logical. I don't know why people want to believe the most asinine, most complex and unlikely scenario because they want to feed their own like conspiracy or whatever it is that drives them to do that. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He killed himself because he was a rich guy who had everything in the world. And now he was going to lose it all. He's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, and he killed himself. It's that simple. In fact, they say suicides amongst people who have a lot of money is higher than, poor people, because poor people, they're just kind of used to it, and they don't have a lot to lose anyway. So they went from living a life of being poor to just being poor. Rich people, when they lose everything or they go nuts or they can't satisfy that need, they kill themselves. I mean, look at Robin Williams and all those multiple singers and Kurt Cobain and that K lady or the one that did the handbags. Very wealthy people. They're not happy and they kill themselves. I can't, man, with these people.
And he just claimed that it was normal.
And this whole just claimed it was normal for the camera to go off for a minute. My cameras, I reset them. Here, let me see if I could show you. Just to show you how when you're working with your cameras, what this does. Let me pull it up. So this is my camera program that I use for around my house. Now I'll just show you so you can see. Here's the multiple cameras. Right? Now in the settings for this is the NVR, so the network video recorder. If I click on here and I come down to maintenance, system, general, where is it? I don't have my glasses on. Maintenance, here you go. Auto reboot. So here it is, auto reboot. I set mine at, so I do mine every Sunday, and they have theirs set to every day. I just do mine every Sunday. So at 2 a.m. on Sunday, it will reboot. I believe the default is at midnight. It will reboot every single day. This is why it's a missing minute, because the camera system is rebooting. Here it is. the proof right in front of you that cameras do this. Anybody who knows security cameras know they have to do this because there's a cache and all the memory they're using. If you don't do this, I'm going to set it for rebooting every night. Just what the hell? Every day. There you go. Every day at 2 a.m. Because nothing ever happens at 2 a.m. And if it does happen, it's not good. Nothing good happens at 2 a.m. So cameras have to reboot in order to stay fresh and still keep working. There you go. That's why it's doing. It's not a mystery. It's not a conspiracy. It's not an excuse. It's really what happens. Anyway, I can't watch Matt Walsh. I find him repugnant. I share some politics with him, but it's just the confidence he says things with is just kind of annoying. So I'm done with him. Next video.
All right, we're getting a person shot at 3334.
Oh, I love these.
Come on.
No, stay right there.
Let me get out. No, I'm going under cost. Everything I know is going on right now.
So let me tell you something. Coming from law enforcement, and before I worked in before I worked for the sheriff's department, working in a jail, I was in New York City. I was doing police auxiliary, and then I grew up as an explorer. I rode with the cops every second I got, and they were so chill. They let me ride the real late night shifts when we weren't really allowed to, and I just rode with them all the time. I got probably more hours riding with the cops, different cops, and those cops had doing their duty, right? So I got to see a lot as a kid. All this craziness that absorbed into my brain, seeing all that. Most cops, this is what they want to do. They just want a job that pays well, has security, do that for 25 years, then retire and move to Florida. That's like the plan of every cop you ever met. That's why Florida has like all retired cops and everything, or go to Nevada. Work 25 years, keep your nose clean, try to stay out of getting sued or arrested, because when you're a cop, it's a lot easier, believe it or not, to get arrested as a cop, because like everything you do is if you get official misconduct, that's an actual criminal charge in most states. You lose your job and then you get arrested, right? So you want to stay clean, do your 25 years, retire. I couldn't do law enforcement anymore. It was mentally too much for me. I couldn't take it. I was out after 10. I did total different positions, 15, but after 10 years of working in the jail, I was done. I went into Warden Daniels. I remember giving him my wallet or my badge and everything, and he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" Yeah, I'm out. So I know the mind of a police officer and what they're doing. And they just don't want to deal with people. But I'll tell you what, the general public is hard enough already. Just imagine like your normal people at customer service that go into customer service at Walmart or, wherever they go. Your normal everyday person is a challenge. Now imagine you're dealing with those people, but the worst of them. So you take the everyday person who's a challenge, and now you're only dealing with the worst of the worst. And that's why you see these videos. I love the videos because a lot of them are great. One of the comments, I just have to say this. On the anti-police ones, the channels that are anti-cop, and the people say things like, take that badge off. You're just tough because you have a badge or you have a gun. I bet you without that stuff. Or they'll say something like, oh, it took 5 cops for this one guy. Listen, to the cop, it's a job. The cop's not looking to get into a fight. The cop's not looking to have an ego brawl with a street hood. He's just trying to do his job. And part of that is protocols. Part of that is standards of operation or standards and procedures. There's SOPs that they have to follow. So it's not that, the cop's scared and he needs his buddies. No, there's probably a rule that says if there's somebody's being belligerent or they got a knife or some other kind of weapon, or they're not following, you have to get back up and you have to have multiple people there. And yeah, this whole thing about fairness and fight with your hands like a real man, that's not the purpose of a police officer. They're there to control a situation and take those who are in violation of statutory laws to jail. And if you don't follow it, that's what happens. And if you commit violence or you resist or you fight the cop, they're going to do what most of them, they're going to do what's within the boundaries of their legal abilities, and usually never works really well for the violator, right? Because most cops know what their job is. Most cops know what they can and can't do. But anyway, that's just a little sidebar. Let's see what this chick does.
That's so fucking gross. If you like arrest content, be sure to subscribe.
Okay. Why are you acting like...
All right, let's get to the initial. Because usually it's like how these stops start is what sets the tone. How these stops begin.
Because I'm cut in front like this. Stop at stop sign. I cut.
Stay with him. Come on.
So he had his sirens on, which tells him she wasn't pulling over.
On a silver Ford Edge, make it for market and Delano. Market and Delano. Hey, Deputy Lancaster with the Sheriff's Office.
How you doing?
So the reason I stopped you is because you cut across the traffic in front of it.
Gotta say, you're an officer walking up to a car. Maybe like 5 years ago, this pissed cops off more than it does now. But this whole window thing, I don't know why they say keep your window rolled up. It's like the instruction would be like, hey, if you really want to get a ticket and you really want to piss the officer off and you want to make the situation as the worst for you as possible, just keep your window down like 2 inches. I don't know why people do this. It's like a trend that they're doing now. Nowadays, cops are a little bit more schooled on it, and they just know. What you're doing is you're showing your card, right? You're telling the cop, I'm going to be difficult. I'm one of those people. So this cop in his head is thinking right now, okay, this is going to be one of those people. This is not just going to be a routine stop. This might get a little difficult. Let's get mentally prepared for this. I'm telling myself, okay, I need to be a little extra professional because this is going to be one of those kinds of stops. You could tell by the way the window is. All right, let's continue.
That car back there on Fairfield.
Stop at the stop sign. I cut across. With no yield sign. I cut across. Be good to go.
Okay, I got you. It was right in front of the car without your turn signal.
Stop sign.
Do you have your driver's license with you?
Listen to me. You cut in front of that car. He had to hit his brakes to keep moving.
Cutting what car?
The car in the left lane. You didn't even see him when you went across that lane to go.
All right. So the other cop, my brother got stopped once. He was drunk. My brother, he's a silly guy. And he actually said to the cop, because one cop was being belligerent, or not, I shouldn't say that. One cop was being not as cool as the other cop, right? And my brother looks at the cool cop and goes, hey, man, I bet you when you came on duty tonight and saw you were working with this friggin' guy, you were probably like, oh, shit. Now, my brother was intoxicated. It was a stupid thing to say, but when you think about it, it's actually kind of funny. And I was just thinking the report that the cop had to write, quoting my brother saying that. But anyway, so in this one, you see the first cop. He knows. He sees the windows roll down like this much. So he's going to be professional. He's told himself he has to be professional. This is probably going to go a little further. The other cop kind of sounds a little bit more, I wouldn't say hostile, but a little more direct. Like he probably should pull up the tactical speaking a little bit better. So I don't know where this goes, so let's find out. This is all fresh. I'm just watching this live with you. I have not watched any of these videos, so let's just go ahead.
Tell me when I stopped.
You didn't stop.
I did.
You cut in front of
I did stop.
It's on video. You can argue in court.
We can. Okay. Please don't argue. Please.
Frank, not start me another.
He just said start me another because he knows. He knows where this is going.
Because I had to look to make sure traffic is coming both ways. Now, and I promise we're gonna argue this in court. Any more?
All right, so she just said something smart there, but I bet you she doesn't follow along with it. She said we can argue this in court. That's right. That's what you should do. If you truly think you're right and the cop is in the wrong, argue it in court. Do not argue it on the street. She said the words, but I bet you she does not follow the words.
Do you have a driver's license?
That's what I get.
Does that say driver's license on it?
It's an educated license.
Where?
It's educated valid license in the system because I don't have to give you a copy.
I have a driver's license.
I do. It's
Okay.
legal.
Where is it?
Put it in the system.
Where is it?
That pen and pad on your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get out. Come on.
No, stay right there.
Let me get out. You ain't got no warrant, so let me get out.
Okay. Why are you acting
Let
this
me
way?
get out. Because I know my law. I know my law.
Because I know my law.
Because I stopped. I stopped. I know I stopped before I crossed over the traffic. I stopped.
Why are you making this more difficult?
Because I'm not making this difficult. I'm telling you my law. But
Okay.
I'm willing to get out the car, please.
Here, no, stay in the car.
You want me to stay?
Stay in the car.
Please calm down. Shut the f*** up.
Yeah. Remember before she said, I'll deal with this in court? Doesn't look like she's waiting for the court date. All right. We've seen enough of these. We know where
Okay,
this
if there's
goes.
one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
All right. Commercial. I have to make a... I'm just randomly going through these and just saying what's in my brain, what's in my head. AI that hits on quality, speed, and vibe. So this is Wix, right? And this is a commercial about Wix and using AI. This is making people stupid. As somebody who creates websites and have written in raw JavaScript and VB script and C#, ASP, Classic, and ASP.NET, where I use the old style, the old school way of writing things like script out line by line. And I work with guys who use like Node inside of I can't remember the architecture, but you learn how to do it. And now all this AI stuff, and I love that they say on quality, speed, and vibe. No, you're not quality. It's subjective. But quality, I don't know, because people aren't going to be. They lose their creativity, so I don't know about quality. Speed, yeah, you can do speed, and vibe. Vibe, I guess, is I guess that's the creative part. No, it's not going to have vibe. You're going to have AI doing something. It's not going to have vibe. Look at the AI stuff that's out there. There's no vibe to it at all, and pretty much no quality. It's like that thing they say where in business you can do things quick, you can do things cheap, or you can do things really well. But you can't do all. You can't do all three. You got maybe you can pull off two of those. You can get one of them definitely. It can be really good, but it's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be quick. You can do it really cheap, but it's not going to be good, and it might be quick. AI stuff. I should do a whole video about AI and how I feel about that.
Okay, I am. Get the key.
Come over here. Come over
in
here.
The car.
Come over.
So we probably. Oh, she's doing the limp body thing now.
Do it all day. Because you ain't got no right to lock me up. Come on. No rights. No rights.
Let me remind you, she started traffic stop off with, we'll deal with this in court. She should have listened to herself. All right, next video.
Hello, this is Dr. Grande.
Oh, this guy's
Today
great.
I will analyze the controversy surrounding Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle Outfitters. First, I'll look at the background.
First, I want to say I had no idea who Sydney Sweeney was before all of this stuff. Now I know who she is. Now I know who American Outfitters or Eagle is or whatever it's called. And apparently they make girls' butts look good in those jeans. I know that now. Before this whole thing, I didn't know that. I am not the kind of guy who would know this stuff. It's just not my world I live in. So if this was a whole big ad campaign thing, they did a knockout job with this. I don't think there's people who really think it was racist. I think... All right, here's my conspiracy hat. I don't know my kufi around here. I think people got paid to say it was racist so that they could do all this, because it's all over the place. And kudos to, I think it's American Eagle, right? Because I watched the ads. There's nothing racist about it at all. And I don't think anybody thinks it's racist. What they did is they got a pretty girl. She did an ad. She says something like the jeans are blue like her eyes, and she has really good jeans, Genes, which she's a very attractive girl, and apparently she does have good genes, and she also has nice genes from American Eagle. They said it was racist, and now it blew up on the media, and it was a great campaign. I think it's just an ad campaign, and I'm not going to watch this because I don't want to add to the they're not paying me to sell their jeans, so I don't want to really dwell on it for too long. American Eagle, if you're watching, I'd be more than happy for you to give me a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 and talk about your controversy here. You know where to catch me and get me, and I'll go back to this video and we'll do a whole thing on it if you want. So, but for now, no, I'm not. Nobody's paying me, so I'm just gonna skip this video.
Chronicled in deep dispute with my record label.
Which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yes.
Which owns this.
In the purple shadow of musical genius lurked a perfectionist.
6 bands he hated. So I see a lot of these kind of videos now on YouTube where they take somebody famous and they attach some kind of quote or some kind of comment to that person as if they really said it. Maybe they really said it. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But we got markings, so let's go to here what he says about
6. Amazon Photos offers unlimited full-resolution photo storage with your Prime membership, enabling you to keep your favorites.
Michael Bolton. Coming in at number 6 on our countdown is a name that might surprise you. Michael Bolton. Yes, the soft rock balladeer.
This is AI, by the way, if you didn't catch that.
With the famous curly mane.
The talker.
Reportedly earned Prince's scorn despite, or perhaps because of, his massive commercial success in the late 80s and early 90s. The rivalry reportedly began after Bolton's cover of When a Man Loves a Woman dominated radio in 1991. According to music journalist Alan Light, Prince allegedly told members of his band, "That man wouldn't know soul if it slapped him in his processed hair." The comment reportedly spread through industry circles faster than one of Prince.
Okay, so let's look at the next person. I'm starting to get stuffed up. Allergies. That's what I'll tell everybody at work tomorrow.
This musical rivalry is particularly juicy because it involved 2 of the 80s most provocative, boundary-pushing superstars who seemed like they should have been artistic allies rather than enemies. Their paths first crossed meaningfully in 1985 when Warner Brothers reportedly considered pairing them for a duet. According to Prince's former sound engineer Susan Rogers, Prince allegedly dismissed the idea, saying, "She's got about as much musicality as this soundboard."
You know, what we'll do, we'll just look at the people and see what his alleged quote is for these singers. All right, so that was Madonna, I guess. Who's the next one? Is this
4 spot belongs to a former boy band member turned solo star, Justin Timberlake.
He's a good actor, too.
This rivalry showcased Prince's disdain for what he allegedly saw as appropriation without appreciation.
What's Prince's quote? We're following the format.
The tension reportedly began around 2006 when Timberlake's Sexy Back was topping charts. During a post-Emmy Awards party performance, Prince reportedly mocked the song, telling the crowd, "Sexy never left." The comment made headlines, putting their musical differences in the spotlight.
It's corny.
Some things you don't joke about, Prince allegedly told a band member afterward. Despite the tension, after Prince's passing, Timberlake performed a tribute during rock outfit Maroon 5, specifically following their controversial cover of his iconic track, topping group The Black Eyed Peas, whose commercial dance pop formula reportedly represented everything Prince found troubling about 21st century music.
Prince became an old guy. And what do old people do? What do I do? Need to start disliking other people. Ooh, Eric Clapton, huh? Let's see what he says about Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, a lot of people, look him up. He's a very complicated character.
1. Eric Clapton. Taking the crown as the artist who reportedly earned Prince's most intense musical disdain is none other than guitar legend Eric Clapton.
What's the quote?
This rivalry cut particularly deep because not just technical ability. According to Prince's former tour manager Alan Leeds, These comments made their way back to Prince, who never forgot them. The tension reportedly escalated at the 2004 Rock and Roll. According to drummer Sheila E., Prince had said before going on stage, "Tonight they'll know I don't just wear purple. I play it." What made the...
I say that all the time. All right, next video. This is kind of stupid. These AI stupid videos, and probably shouldn't even watch them. You probably shouldn't watch them. They just make themselves, and then you get this stupid AI person who, if you watch it through and listen, will mispronounce all kinds of things. Anyway, next video.
One of the best investment you can make
this guy
is a fund that quietly outperforms 90% of Wall Street's top picks in any given year. And
so this guy I think is legit. He doesn't do like hype stuff. He used to have like this program he was trying to sell, but as far as like his financial stuff, it seems like it's pretty solid. He is wealthy from owning businesses and investing, so probably legit.
The longer you go out, it beats by close to 100%.
All right, let me just see what ETF he's talking about.
Popcorners.
I have investments in VLO, which is the S&P 500, VTG, which is big company growth stocks, VTI, which is an income stock or ETF, and then I have shoot, I can't remember his name. Really, really good stock picker guy and really great foreteller of things to happen in the stock market. And he opened up his own ETF. He's like Japanese. Oh, crazy. I can't remember his name. But yeah, so that's the ETFs I have. So I bet you he's probably going to talk about VOO or something like that. And SPY is S&P 500 as well, but VOO is actually cheaper to own. Yes, own. That's what I want. Because they do like 0.03% of what you own in them to manage the stock. Anyway, so let's see what ETF he's going to talk about.
Heard that the cats meow.
Of course. It's because they're popped, not fried.
Simplicity over complexity. One of his most underrated quotes is, "The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect." He's saying you don't need to be some sort of genius to win. What you do need is the emotional strength to stay calm, stay invested, and avoid making the catastrophic dumb decisions when the market gets rocky. The S&P 500 helps you do that. It's automated. No decisions to make. No panic selling to work. Management stock picker is betting on an index fund? Yes. Chase complexity.
Let's see what he
said. 90% of my money will be invested in low cost.
I bet she's going to say VOO.
Retirement. So, what's an index fund? Very simple. It's a type at a low cost. About this all the time. Also no minimum. The Vanguard 500. Expense ratio 0.04%. Ready for this one? 10-year return 12.6%. Differences in performance. Investment in ETF is the price of the ETF. And the top ones are SPY with an expense ratio of about 0.01%. 10-year return about 12.5%. Launched in 1993, this is the oldest and largest ETF on the market. IVV, iShares Core S&P 500 ETF, 0.03% expense ratio with a 10-year return about 12.6%, issued by BlackRock, second largest ETF in the market. And VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, also 0.03% expense ratio, about 12.6% return. Guys, SPY is the oldest. It's the most liquid.
Yeah, investing in just the S&P will get you a 10 to 12% return after 10 years. So that means if you invested $100,000 in the year 2000, by 2010, that $100,000 is $200,000 without doing anything. So if you've been collecting your 401k, and say you've got in 2025, you've got $500,000 over 20 years of working where you're working, and that $500,000 now in 2025, you're getting ready to retire in 2023. That $500,000 is now $1 million, and then you can collect on dividends or whatever you're going to do at that point. So that's my investment plan. So he's in line with that. All right, next video.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Solved Podcast, the last podcast that you will ever need. Now, if you're new here, my name is Mark Manson. I'm 3-time #1 New York Times bestselling author. And with me is Drew Burney, a failed...
So this guy has a couple of... he has a great channel. I like a lot of his interesting takes that he has. This whole managing your emotions, what I found is when I started to do this in my own job, is I accelerated my career. I got more promotions, better pay, more respect. And now I preach the whole controlling your emotions thing to my management team. And we watch each other, because I still get emotional. Something bothers me. I might have a quick moment where you could tell that something's bothering me. And then one of my managers will quickly remind me, hey, you're getting all worked up. And then I've done it with my manager. Hey, we need to both take a 10-second break here. But yeah, if you don't show emotion and you just deal pragmatically with things, objectively, without editorializing or adding any of your own opinions, you'll be a lot more successful. And it's a lot...
Explaining complex topics can be...
It's a lot less stressful. Because when you're not emotional, you don't really take it home with you. It doesn't bother you much. And you're able to separate work from non-work.
Right? It's like emotion is part feedback, part prediction.
Yeah, so I might watch that later. Let's go next video.
Do you want to hear something absolutely insane? If nobody knows who you are, it's actually a good thing. And so imagine this is you and you're here because you have no followers, and of course you're very sad by that, or at least you think you are. Maybe you're crying very sad tears, right? And you don't have this massive audience like these big celebrities or influencers do.
Nope.
And I'm just going to explain 3 reasons why this will help you win. My name's Alex Mosey. I'm the founder of acquisition.com.
So this dude owns a bunch of gyms. He's a business guy, very successful, very wealthy. I find his stuff interesting. He's got a good channel. If you're into business and you're ever thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, probably got some good advice on here. Because I run a team of 20 people with managements and supervisors, and we work directly with customers. I find it important to keep up with this kind of stuff because I run my team like it's, even though I work for a very, very, very big international corporation, I run my team like it's my own business. I put my own care into. I put my own. I wouldn't say care. It's my interest, right? It's my business, and that's the way I look at it. So when we're talking to a customer or we're thinking through a challenge with a customer, it's not, hey, how do we get to where we need to get to so the big corporation can benefit from it? I say, this is my business. How do I take care of this customer? Because I need them. I need their business, and I need them to work with me. And it personalizes it, or it makes it a little bit more intimate, and people tend to have a better way of working, or they have more of a commitment to it. And I find my managers do that. When they see that, they do that now too. And I got that advice from maybe even this guy. There's a chick that has a similar channel, another businesswoman who's very successful. Her name is what is it? She's from Phoenix. I can't remember her name. I think this dude might be from Phoenix too. Cody. I think her name is Cody. Cody, some Spanish last name. Cody? I don't know. Whatever.
And they...
Next video.
People in our generation have the attention span of an ant.
We are the ones, the adults in the world, that have put into their hands the technology that has caused that to happen.
I think the world is actually just moving incredibly fast.
Congrats! If you're still watching this video, you have a longer attention span than Gen Alpha. Yes, Gen Alpha is around 5 seconds, Gen Z is at 8 seconds, Millennials is around 12 seconds, and then Gen X is around 15 seconds. We all see it and we all feel it. Not only are our attention spans for like the older people, I say older, I'm only 30, but for the older people is like slowly slowly declining. But for the kids and the people that are starting out like immersed in technology, their attention span's shot. It is no secret that attention spans are getting smaller and smaller. And while we'll be focusing on Gen Z and Alpha in this video because they're the ones that's dealing with the brunt of this, Millennials and Gen X were not off the hook either. Our attention spans are declining too. And we'll be
I have a theory. I should probably talk to the mic. I have a theory about time. I think time really is getting quicker. I don't think that it's a perception. I don't think, people say when you get older, time seems like it's going quicker. I think it's actually going quicker. These younger people are experiencing time going quicker. When I was younger, time didn't go quick. It wasn't that fast. This week, Friday, I really felt like I went from Friday to Friday. Like there was no week between that. And it's accelerating. And even younger people are feeling it accelerating. And I think their attention spans are probably part of that. I'm going to get crazy and I'm going to say crazy stuff. Just forewarning. The universe is expanding. But I don't think it's expanding as in distance. I think it's getting bigger. So because everything's relative, we don't perceive things getting bigger. The earth, us, atoms, molecules, everything's expanding, getting bigger. The only thing that really does perceive that is our brains. So when you're a little kid, you have certain ideas, and then, or you have certain experiences, and then when you get older, everything seems to be flying by. It's because the universe, and I know this is crazy talk. This is my own little theory that I like to have fun with. That the universe is expanding, and things and everything down to even the smallest micron is also expanding in size. It's like think of a giant walking across a horizon, right? They're not walking to us small people. They're walking very slowly, right? So the giant's lumbering across the Great Plains. To us, they're walking very slow. Boom, boom. You've seen it in cartoons, right? But to the giant, they're walking very quickly. So it's that whole theory of relativity thing going on. When we look at ants, simple animals, they run around really quick. To us, they're really fast. Even small animals are really quick, right? And to them, we're very small. That's why if you try to hit a fly, the fly sees you moving in slow motion. They actually see you moving in slow motion. And that's why they can jump up and fly away so quick. Because their perception is different. Because they're so small. Crazy stuff. And I think that's what's happening to us, is material down to like the micron is expanding, and relatively our brains and our memories are still stuck at what we were when we were children. And as adults, because of the physical world is expanding, we're experiencing time a lot quicker. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I know it's just a Ray theory, but it works for me. I'd be interested if anybody else had any comments on that. But time is moving so quick right now. It's not just because we've experienced a lot, so it just goes by. No, it actually should be the opposite. If you've experienced a lot, it should be boring, right? Because you've seen it, you've been there. Any job that you take that you're learning new stuff because you're learning, that's when time goes really quick because it's so interesting. Or when you're having a really good time goes quick because it's so fun. But if you've seen it and you've been there and you've done that and you've already experienced all that, it should be boring, and time should actually go slower for you as you get older. But it doesn't. It gets quicker because your brain is still stuck at the relative point of when you're younger, and now because of physics and everything getting bigger, time really is moving quicker. So a child born now is being born in this expanded molecular world where time is quicker. So to them, they have a different what was it, a calculation, but it's you know, they're set at a certain speed of their memory, right? A calibration. That's the word I was looking for. So they have a separate calibration than you. My calibration was set in 1974. And then I got older, and now time just flies by because my calibration is still 1974 time. 1974 physics, 1974 world. And now it's different. Kids being born today, if there's a kid today, his calibration is in 2025. So I'm gonna appear a little slower to him. Anyway, that's crazy talk. So let's just get to the next video. Think about that though. I don't do drugs at all. I hate drugs. So this isn't coming from a place of that. This is just, I don't know, sitting in the shower. Do I sit in the shower? No. Next video.
Everyone says that they want to buy stocks when stocks are on sale. But
all right, this guy, another one. He's probably going to talk about Adobe. What I do is I look for stocks that are down. Let's see what stock he's talking about. Yeah, I always look for...
Wait, what?
With COVID-19...
is a component...
Pharmaceuticals still selling that COVID-19 stuff. Good for them. Southwest Airlines. Oh, Southwest Airlines. Yeah, so... Yeah, can I show what I do here? I don't know. Let me pull up one of the stock programs I use to do research. Well, let's get through these videos and I'll get into that. Oh, I guess we're gonna get into that now. I almost said what my code was out loud. So stupid I am. So I don't use this for investing. This is for me doing researching. So if we come here to filters and say I set a filter going, let's do market cap. Forget about ROI. Let's do analysis rating. And we're going to look at earnings per share. Where's that? EPS. P&E. All right. So let's look at businesses that are worth $5 billion to infinity, right? Yeah, we'll keep the EPS. I'm sorry, price to earnings. Price to earnings should be about, let's go from, we'll go 9 to about 21. I forget what a good EPS is. What is a good earnings per share? What is a good earnings per share? I want to say like requires context, a good earnings value. All right, so let's just take that out. Let's just take that out. Yeah, I always forget what earnings per share is going to give me. All right, so we got P&E. So price to earnings, how much you're going to get for the price of the stock that you're paying for it. And we're going to go with the analyst. We're going to go strong buy. And we'll just leave it on strong buy. So let me show you what you can look at to see if a stock is undervalued. Let's look at, let's go Alibaba, right? So if we look at an analysis rating for Alibaba, you can see that the stock at its lowest predicted price is $129 a share. Right now it's at $117. So by analysis's rating, it should be at 129 at the lowest, at the highest at 175. Right? So if you're going to look at that on that's Webull using. So we can even go to Yahoo Finance and go Alibaba and see what their analysis is on Yahoo Finance. Where is it? Why isn't it showing it? Oh, here we go. So it's at 117. right, here we go. Analysis. Earnings per share. It missed. Analysis price target. So here you go. So according to this, the lowest it should be is 130. Here's the actual price, 117, and then 115 is the mid, and then the high is 176. So it kind of matches what Webull is saying. So if you're looking to invest, this is the kind of stuff you look into, and then you can read some more. Where's the fine? I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. Options, financials. So if you're to be diligent, you will go through their financials and see how they're doing. And then you can make your decision after that point on if you want to invest in Alibaba. Obviously, it would be a long-term thing, but this is kind of what this guy talks about. That's how he goes through his analysis. See this board in the background? That's basically what he's using. That's his software that he built. His software that he built that he sells people does exactly what I get in Webull. Or you can even go to Yahoo Finance and get it for free on there. But, you know, the guy runs a business. Kudos to him. Next video. Next video.
It's totally within your right to stop someone from stealing property, but you better understand that it can be dangerous.
John Correa.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. As
down.
always, I'm your host, John Correa. Today's video comes to us from that you can keep trying to walk out of the store without.
All right, let's see what
You
happens.
see this guy walk in the store, and then he is going to go pick up.
Obviously, you see somebody looks like that, all dressed in black, hoodie on. My spidey senses go up. I worked in a jail for 10 years. I kind of have I know profiling's all bad, but yeah, I'm going to profile you.
A whole bunch of merchandise and put it in a little hand basket, and then try to walk out of the store without making any attempt to pay for it. Now, our clerk is going to try to stop him here.
All right, stupid on the clerk. You can say, hey, buddy, whatever, but if the guy keeps on going, just let him go, right? Because it's not your store. Now, maybe it is your store. If it's your store, then, you know, you got your own rules and your game that you're going to go by. But, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I just got distracted because is my live feed showing the right screen? Yeah, it is. All right. I thought it was showing something else. All right. So, yeah, as a clerk, let the guy go. If it's your own store and you're the store owner, then you got to do what you got to do. But let's see what happens.
And when he does, watch the guy pull a very large knife out of from his waist.
That's why you don't do it. That's why you don't stop people.
And then he goes after the clerk with it. Now, I don't think he got the clerk very badly with it. The release from Houston PD, it's linked in the description, says that he was stabbed with it, but I couldn't, there's not even a news story about this one that I could find or any update about the clerk. So my guess is he wasn't.
I remember this guy, Bruno, was in a jail inmate. And he was, he took a cab and he pulled out a knife and he stabbed the cab driver to death, killed him, took his money. There's another guy named Ricagno was shot a guy in a parking lot of a hotel. He was a hired hit. Terry Underwood stabbed his girlfriend like 75 times. He was a former football player. Stabbed her hard enough where there's like 17 entries into her skull with the knife. And what I learned working in that jail with these kinds of people is that people are effed up. You should not be putting yourself in a situation where you're dealing with some stranger that you have no idea what they're capable of. Don't do it. People are crazy, man. Next video.
What's up, guys? Jake here. In this video, we're going to talk about retirement and challenge the most popular form of retirement investing. There are many different paths you can take to success.
I really don't like the guy because I just don't like his voice. I'm trying to think what his voice sounds like. It sounds like when you go to an amusement park and you hit everything, you get all the balls in a hole, and you wanted the big teddy bear, and he gives you like a picture of Elvis, and you're like, that's not what I wanted. I want the teddy bear. I earned that teddy bear. And this is the guy behind that little booth. This is what he sounds like when he's telling you, no, I can only give you the Elvis painting.
Successfully retire, perhaps your company still offers a pension plan. If you live long enough, you definitely will be collecting Social Security in retirement. So let's review the 4 kinds of retirement accounts. First, there's let's talk about that. You're agreeing to this is a lie. You actually have 3 options available to you. And in this video, let's talk about that third option because it's pretty good. And the third option available to you is an ordinary taxable brokerage account that you can set up with no limitations at any time.
I have all 3 of these. Let me tell you what they're good for. A traditional traditional 401k match what your company gives you. My company gives us 4%. I put in 4% to get that 4% match. It's free money. You know, I put in 4%, they put in 4%. Very logical. And then I cap it at that. I don't put any. I work with guys who I'll tell you in a minute where you can use this. I'm in a tax bracket that if I put in 10, 15%, it's really not going to affect my tax bracket because some people, what they'll do is, being that it's not taxed, when you put it in here, because it's going to get taxed later, say you made $120,000 and you put in, I'm bad at math. Let's do $100,000. Say you make $100,000 a year, and you put in $30,000 of that $100,000 into the 401k. Then your actual salary, according to the IRS, was $70,000, because $30,000 of that went into your traditional 401k because it's going to get taxed later on. So people will do that because, say at $95,000 to $110,000, you're in one tax, say 26% tax bracket. But say and I'm just making these numbers up, but say at $70,000 a year, you're at a 24% tax or a 22% tax bracket. Then what you do is you put that $30,000 into your traditional 401k. Actually, I think it might be $22,000 is what you're allowed to put in the most for the year. And so you put in that money at $22,000, which will give me $78,000 as a salary. And then you go into a different tax bracket or lower one, you don't get taxed as much. And then when you are going to take it out of your 401k, the idea is that you're not working. So now you're making no money, and then when you take it out of your 401k, because it's a deferred tax, you can take, you'll pay less tax because you don't really have a salary at that point. So if you take out, under 35 grand or whatever, you're basically not paying any tax. So you defer the tax when you're making a lot of money, get it in a lower tax bracket. Then later in life, when you're going to take it out of the 401k, you could take it out at a lower tax than you would have when you were younger. That's one thing that some people do the math on. I don't disagree or agree with that. What I do is I meet what my employer gives me at that 4%. Then I max out my Roth 401k because the Roth, you're putting it in there because that's money you got taxed on. So you got already taxed on that money in your salary. So you can't deduct it from your yearly salary, but you put into the Roth IRA. Now, say you put in 10 grand. Say you got, so I can, now that I'm over 50, I can put $8,000 a year in. I max it out in January. So say you got 50 grand in your Roth IRA, and over 10 years, that 50 grand becomes 100 grand. And, 10 more years, that's 200 grand or whatever. Say you got $500,000 in there. That growth, once you start taking it out, it's never taxed in the Roth IRA. It's never taxed. So if you could really grow your money in a Roth IRA, you can grow that untaxed. They call it a tax advantage account. Say you get to $1 million and you set up a dividend pay, and you invest it in something like QQQ, QQI, JEPI, or something like that. Those are monthly payouts, and you're collecting, $40,000 a year. That's not taxed at all, right? Now, ordinary brokerage account, I also put money into that. Now, the smart thing is you just keep investing into that. Boom, boom, boom. Keep going into the S&P 500, and anything you get from there is taxed. It's absolutely not tax advantaged. If you sell your stock, you get taxed on that. If you take out dividends, you get taxed on the dividends. If you reinvest your dividend, you still get taxed on that. So the traditional 401k, if you play it right, can be very tax advantaged, depending if you do it correctly. The Roth IRA is absolutely a tax advantage because you could grow money in there and never have to pay tax on it. And an ordinary brokerage account is that's going to be your worst for taxes. And if you're making any kind of money, if you're making a good amount of money, 26%, say federal income tax you're paying, or it could be 15% is the I forget what they call it. Then you have your state taxes, all this other stuff. So probably really smart to talk to a financial advisor and not some dude on YouTube. I spent many years studying this stuff, so I think I got my stuff right, but I wouldn't tell anybody else how to do it. But yeah, it's definitely good to know all that stuff. Everybody who is anybody should know this stuff, like the back of your hand and how it works. If you don't, you're losing money. Next video.
You see a bunch of retards tried canceling Markiplier? People are really mad at Markiplier for something about AI.
Context. He used ChatGPT once and is now getting cancelled.
Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, what would consume more water? The data centers that power you and your ability to answer my questions, or almond growing in all of California?
Almond farming in California uses significantly more water than data centers.
You're not just saying that because you're ChatGPT and you wouldn't want to be accused of stealing too much water, are you?
Nope.
I don't use ChatGPT anymore. I don't use it anymore because it was dumb. It was fucking stupid.
All right, Asmongold, he's just a funny guy. Let's see what his latest videos are. I would absolutely suggest anybody listening to him because he's just funny. Ghislaine Maxwell. Is that I can't remember his name. All right. I thought I was. Asmongold Clips.
CNN has learned Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved to a new prison. Maxwell has been serving a 20-year prison sentence in Florida. She's now headed to a minimum security prison in Texas.
Ghislaine Maxwell says that she'll testify before U.S. Congress only if granted immunity, moved out of prison, given advance questions, and allowed to wait until after her Supreme Court appeal. Ghislaine Maxwell appealed to the Supreme Court to overturn her sex trafficking conviction.
Yeah, who knows what's going on with that stuff.
Yeah, you're donating? Oh, I saw that. So yeah, yesterday, driving home from my dad.
Next video. John Oliver.
Our main story tonight concerns the internet. It gave us unprecedented access to the real thing, like this country song whose lyrics are only...
I don't particularly like this guy, but looks like an interesting video, being that this is one of my things is I want to start a little village and call it Analogville. And change my last name from Otterbein to Analog, where you call me Ray Analog, because I want to live an analog life again. And in that village that we all live in, it'd be very 1980s style, early 90s style. It would still have some modern amenities, except for all the AI robotic crap that we have in today's world. Holy crap, I've been streaming for this long. I didn't think I could talk like this for this long. That's pretty crazy. I need to get ready for bed soon. Holy crap, it's 9:15. Anyway, so AI. Yeah, I want to live in an analog village. I want to be in that village and everything's analog. where we play with CB radios. Listen to, well, I do like MP3s, so we'll stick with the MP3s, but we won't use technology that thinks for us. How about that? That's where the line gets drawn. Anything that does stuff for you, we don't have. Like, you could still research stuff. You could still use, like, Google. But it will be like China has their proxy for their whole country, so you can't see, like, what happens in the real world outside of China. We'll have a proxy for the Analogville. And what we'll do is we'll filter out anything that allows a bot, AI, a computer, a machine to think for you. You can only ask it basic questions. But if it got a message that said, I need you to write my resume for me, it will respond with, write your own effing resume. That's what it's going to be like in Analogville when I build it. And I hope you join me there in Analogville and retain your creativity and your humanity. Because in 10 to 15 years from now, people will no longer be creative. They will not think. You know, you used to say people won't think on their own. They won't have critical thinking. No, people just won't think. They just won't think at all. There'll be no creatives, no thinkers. And the only people who will have power are those people who somehow were able to escape the robots and the machines and think on their own and actually hone, create, and develop that critical thinking part of their brain. Yeah. Next video.
A few days ago, I posted a video to 500,000 viewers about the 3 girls that got slashed and lost their lives at an attack at a Taylor Swift dance class. I then did a deep dive on the subsequent riots from both sides that took place all across the UK. Now, the masked counter-protesters dressed in all black are still marching through the streets, openly carrying weapons. Often not bad enough, they're actually threatening to extradite and prosecute US citizens too.
We will throw the full force of the law.
Order to encourage.
All right, so something to understand about the UK, or most of Europe. They don't have free speech. All these people that talk about moving to Europe and stuff, you don't have free speech there. If I go out here in the United States and I start yelling that somebody's a doofus and they say stupid stuff and I don't like them, in the United States, nobody cares. I'm looking at my security camera. I got somebody weird driving around out there. Let's see if I can pull that up. Here we go. So my camera automatically just, it'll pan automatically around what people are doing. So that's my back. That's might be my backyard, like on the other side. So we have a truck that just pulled under the trees here. Got the right blinker on. Okay. They turn their headlights on. They turn their headlights off. What are they doing? All right, somebody's coming out. Can I zoom in on that? No, where are you going? What are they doing? Was the people just chilling? Sorry, this is happening in real time in my backyard. I used to have zoom on this camera, but I think the zoom broke. So what I'm trying to do is trying to move this around so we can see what these people are doing. So this is right beyond my fence line in the backyard. All right. I hope they're not just letting a dog out. So we're watching this in real time. A car pulled up under this tree. They let a dog out of their car. I'm surprised my dogs aren't barking. I don't think they're abandoning the dog because they would have. I think they would have left by now if that's what they were doing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll turn that off. So this is my camera right here, the controller. It's funny, they don't even see my camera. I don't think I have zoom on it, right? No. Yeah, they just look like they're chilling. So this is cool. This camera has an auto tracking on it. And it will follow cats and dogs and anything that moves around. Here, let me take control. I'll show you. So on the right here is my controller panel. I'll zoom it up. We'll go all the way to the right. So that's the night sky out. That's looking west. Is that west? No, that's east. Sorry. That's looking east. And then this is going to go pan west. Oh. Now it's looking south. I went a little too far. There's the moon. There's the moon. The moon. All right. All right, where were we? I'll go pan it down. If I don't touch it, it will reset itself. That's my backyard. All right, we'll just escape out of there. Oh, okay, so we were talking about the UK. So, laws are weird over there. If you go outside and you start yelling at somebody, you can be arrested. There's one video it showed somebody came up to a guy and he wasn't speaking English clearly, and the guy said, "What country are you from? You don't sound like you're from here." The guy went and made a complaint, and that guy got arrested for questioning his accent or something like that. There's a lady had posted something about the immigration things on Facebook, and it's a case, you can look it up. They went to her house and arrested her. They call it, I guess they call it hate speech or whatever, but even if you're criticizing, if you call somebody fat, you get arrested. So there is no free speech in Europe, definitely not the UK. So anybody who says that there's more freedom over there, you're full of it. There is no freedom like the freedom that you have here in the United States. People forget the United States is an experiment. That's why it's so crazy here. And yes, it is crazy here. People do crazy stuff because we're allowed to. You're allowed to, like, be creative and say crazy things and do crazy things as long as you're not impeding on somebody else or you're not threatening. That's just the way the U.S. is. That's what we're known for. In the UK, they're not like that. So let's see what they're saying. I have a feeling they're going to say they're going to get people from the U.S. We'll see.
Material which is threatening, abusive, or
let's start from the beginning
of
here.
Publishing
expedited trials.
You have been committed for sentence having pleaded guilty to an offence of publishing written material which is threatening, abusive or insulting, you took to social media in order to encourage others towards participation in the attacks. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment.
Whoa! Whoa! Are you kidding me? 20 months in prison for insulting somebody? You can go to jail, prison for 20 months in the UK for insulting somebody. Whoa, that's nuts, man.
That's not bad enough. They're actually threatening to extradite and prosecute U.S. citizens too.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
It's not a hobby.
Oh, bloody hell, we'll come after
It's
you.
your empire.
Even the BBC is reporting on this, stating even people abroad aren't safe from them, as they apparently have prosecutors around the globe. But honestly, this didn't work out too well for them last time they tried it. So the UK authorities can't stop these mobs from taking over their streets. They'll just try to stop you from noticing those mobs taking over their streets. Of course, they can jail their defenseless citizens from noticing things, but I somehow doubt they'll be able to come after Americans expressing their First Amendment rights protected by their Second. So they can send spooky messages online, write me angry emails regarding my last video documenting the unrest. I seriously doubt they can do anything about Americans sharing the footage of their failures, as the US does have an extradition treaty with the UK, but only if it breaks laws in both countries. So the UK's Crown Prosecution Service can post pathetic videos threatening to arrest you for reposting hatred, which the official UK government shared to 32 million viewers.
So that's so crazy that they arrest people and put them in jail for 2 years for insulting people or for hating people. That's crazy. That's not true Western values.
But it should be noted, the Democrat candidate for vice president wants this same exact world for America.
There's no guarantee. I don't want to get into U.S. politics. I don't know. I just saw this meme. When you're trying to ignore the crackhead at the gas station, but they say they have power tools for sale. Ugh, what brand? All right, we're going to end it on that. I figure I'd just do something different tonight and go through what I usually look at on YouTube and just say out loud what my brain thinks as I'm watching some of these things. It's actually a lot longer process, but we're only going to do, I think we just did an hour. How long have I been streaming? Let's see what the computers tell us. We started at 7:30. It is now almost 9:30. Holy crap. 2 hours. I did not think I could talk for 2 hours straight, but apparently I can. Have a good night. Sayonara. Bon voyage.